I have had financial guilt about this cutting board. It's so, like, I can feel it in my back when I pick this up. This thing is so heavy. I like to think we all go through it. We all spend money on things and later have regret. It's simply too heavy for me to manage, to clean in the sink, to dry out in the air, and then find a place to store it. Finding a place to store this giant board has been a problem since I purchased it. I didn't think through that choice. Decluttering with financial guilt is that we all go through it. You are not alone. The money has been spent. We've all spent that money and wished we hadn't. This is where I stored it for a long time because I had nowhere else to store it. I don't think we can go through decluttering without feeling some financial guilt, some emotional guilt, some sentimental guilt. After decluttering now for 5 years, I am well aware of money that I have spent that I'm not recouping. I ordered it in June of 2022, so I've had it 2 years. I don't feel like I got 2 years worth out of it, and I spent $50 on it. $50 is not very much, but also at the same time, $50 is a chunk of my grocery budget at this time. So I can feel a $50 hit. My regret is coming in not thinking through the purchase enough. Something of this size and this weight, what was I going to do with it? Where was I going to store it? How was I going to clean it? And I don't have the dexterity and the wrist strength for something this heavy. I should have returned it. I should have never bought it maybe. And that's where the financial guilt kind of comes in and plagues me. And it's like a virus inside your body, and it causes stress, and you have to release it from your body. You have to make that mental choice to release the physical item that you spent money on that you're regretting decluttering. Even when I try to not punish myself for choices and try to give myself grace and forgiveness, I still sometimes beat myself up about it. And I think that would be my advice. If you can mentally shift to not beating yourself up about a choice, it's going to be easier to declutter it and to let it go. So that's 1, 2, 3 things. A fourth thing would be to help you augment the feeling that you have, the guilty feeling you have about spending money and getting rid of something, to consider where you can donate or give away something that is causing you the guilt. Donate to a worthy cause, a fundraiser, a charity that you know is going to put it to use. I oftentimes need to choose to donate, to give away to someone, that taking the time to sell it for $10 is not going to be worth my time or my energy. My husband had made a great suggestion about this board to give it away in our neighborhood Facebook group. People give stuff away all the time. We have done it several times with some garage items. Things go quickly. And I have a feeling someone in my neighborhood is a strong enough home chef that would love something like this and would take care of it and would not mind the weight and size of it. And maybe has a kitchen that they can store and take care of that. And therefore it's going to someone who is going to use it. And that makes me feel good. It kind of offsets that guilt a little bit. And that helps me shift my mind from hanging on to something, which I have been doing for essentially 2 years since I bought it, to letting go of something. It helps me change how I feel about the item. And the emotions that are attached to this thing now are negative. And talking them through, announcing them as negative, and putting a name to the emotion that this thing is giving me helps me change from why I'm hanging on to it to why I'm letting go of it. I was hanging on to it because of the financial guilt. I'm acknowledging that. I'm processing that. I'm saying that this thing does not bring me joy. It does not make me happy. It actually stresses me out because I have nowhere to put it. It's hard to clean because it's heavy. And so that helps me shift to why I'm letting go. Okay, I'm letting go of it because of those negative feelings. If you do need to sell items, I encourage you to sell them safely. If you're going to do it in a yard sale, or if you're going to do it online, don't share your address. Porch pickup can feel safe in a community that you know of. I am comfortable with porch pickup in my neighborhood. I am comfortable with people from my neighborhood. I'm comfortable with porch pickup in my homeschool co-op community. I know every single person in that group. I am not comfortable with strangers coming to my porch. I'm fine to meet them at the Panera Bread parking lot to sell some things that are definitely of higher value that I can recoup some money, but selling it is an option, and it might offset a little bit of the financial guilt that you're feeling. Big part of decluttering when you have guilt, especially financial guilt, is to acknowledge it and feel it. When you feel pain, it leaves a mark, and it can change how you feel in the future about decisions. I'm never gonna buy a giant board again. I know now better what I'm looking for. A wooden cutting board that I can take care of, that's light and easy, and a better size for me to store and handle. When you're going through decluttering projects, or even just one item, knowing that there's pain and allowing it to have a place for a moment or 2 years, that helps you get to a process of dealing with it. I guess in the last month or so, as I've been thinking about this item and what I wanted to do, I was focusing on what I could control. I can control how I get rid of it. I can control how I store it, which I don't really have any options in my home for it. And I can focus on what I can gain. And I'm going to gain one less giant thing to manage that has been floating around my house. I have tried it, storing it in the dining room, in the hall closet, in the kitchen. I cannot find a home for this thing as much as I want to. I use it at parties to make a giant charcuterie board, but then it goes back to being homeless in my home. And I have to focus on what I'm gonna gain. I'm not gonna gain any money. I'm not gonna alleviate the financial guilt, but I am gonna lessen the stress of managing this thing and storing this thing, because it's visual clutter perpetually. There's nowhere for me to put it that I don't see it, that it's bothering me. And that kind of stress, that ongoing stress, is not necessary. And deciding to let go of that is a process, and I've been processing it for a while. I had 2 people respond within 20 minutes in our neighborhood Facebook group, 2 neighbors. The first one that responded got the board, and it was gone in under an hour for free. And I feel great. I feel like a physical and a mental weight has been lifted from me. I'm alleviating that financial guilt by letting it go, and I'm feeling really quite fantastic about the decision to let it go. My neighbor that picked it up told me that she used to have a booze board, a real big one, and it got ruined, and she's been wanting a new one for a while. And so she's going to put it to use, and I'm really glad. So I've donated it to someone intentionally who has a great use for it in her home. And processing and that pain is all part of decluttering anything, especially when we're decluttering financial guilt. I have talked about financial guilt on this channel several times. The latest video is about a year ago. I'll pop a link up here for you for that. And I talked about another sort of process that I go through for financial guilt, depending on what it is. And sometimes these things just take time. And I'm really glad you spent your time with me today. I hope you're doing well. I'll see you in this video.